Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Pantera Capital CEO Dan Morehead says that Bitcoin will reach a price of $42,000 by the end of 2019. Now, given that it's almost August in 2019, that doesn't leave much time, but hey, we've seen a lot of parabolic action. But even more interestingly, in the realm of price speculation, he says that Bitcoin will be reaching $356,000 within the next couple years. I've got quotes from him that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. And I'm always thinking what this means in terms of adoption of XRP and what it means price-wise for XRP. I'm also going to be sharing a piece with you about XRP Tipbot, which has linked up with a Canadian cryptocurrency exchange with the hopes of increasing adoption of XRP itself. I think that's a cool story. Look forward to sharing that with you. And other than that, I got a few, I selected, I guess, several different XRP-related tweets, mostly XRP-related, and then I'll close the video out by giving you an update on John McAfee. And you know, whatever you think about John McAfee, that dude is freaking interesting. He is just a hoot to listen to and read his tweets. I mean, he's a little out there. I like it, though. I really do. He comes off as just really likable and entertaining. But anyway, he was arrested, he was detained, and he was recently released, so apparently he's okay. He's back to tweeting, and we can look forward to more content from him. So sleep easy tonight. It's going to be okay. But before we get going here, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe. We're all family here. You are welcome as part of the Moon Lambo family. All right, so let's start with the XRP Tipbot piece first. This is from A&B Crypto, and this piece is titled, XRP Tipbot links up with Canada's Coinfield to bolster XRP token adoption. And the piece begins. The Ripple ecosystem has made giant leaps over the past year, something possible by the efforts of a contingent of developers. The Brad Garlinghouse-led firm's XRP ledger, according to an official note, has closed over 48 million ledgers and confirmed more than 900 million transactions. Additionally, XRP ledger has opened over 1.5 million accounts in its first 7 years of operation. By the way, it's actually not far off from 1.8 million at this point. I just saw the chart earlier today. Anyway, piece continues. XRP ledger, which is heavily involved with Ripple Spring, has been a major driving force for XRP's adoption, helping scale its product, XRP Tipbot. Right? That is XRP ledger, which is heavily involved with Ripple Spring, has been a major driving force for XRP's adoption. I do want to point this out. There's a reason I just read that twice. XRP Tipbot, it was created, just so you know, prior to XRPL Labs, which is what was funded through Ripple Spring Initiative, just to be clear there. Anyway, I'll continue reading. According to the latest stats, 383,747 tips have been made on XRP Tipbot since December 2017 by the well-known XRPL developer Weedsay Wind, with the total tipped amount being, oh God, what is this? Why do they put commas in here? It'd be easier for me to read. 1,365,176 XRP. At press time, the XRP Tipbot, combining both hot and cold wallets, held 483,360 XRP as balance. And as per data from its official site, the last 100 Tipbot activities were constituted mostly through Twitter. In another boost to Ripple's native token adoption, the Canada-based crypto exchange Coinfield teamed up with XRP Tipbot for XRP giveaways. This is cool stuff here. The platform had previously pegged XRP as its main base currency, the exchange's latest announcement read. And here's the announcement right here. It states, Coinfield has just linked up with XRP Tipbot, meaning we will be giving away small amounts of XRP on certain posts. Keep an eye out for future posts. And then hashtag Coinfield, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, BTC, XRP. Okay. So, and that was just a couple days ago. And anyway, so to bridge the gap and create a channel for the seamless incentivization of XRP ledger validators and XRP token, Richard Holland developed a tool called Validator Access Tool. In April this year, XRP Labs was in the process of acquiring a banking license for its tipping platform. Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse has been vocal about its stance on regulatory compliance and has thus decided on the incorporation of KYC and AML features for the license. If the firm manages to pull this out, the license would eventually enable XRPL Labs to offer remittance services using the XRP token. And this is the news. I reported on this I can't remember if it was a week or so ago, and I haven't heard an update on this, so we will see what comes of this. But yeah, this is kind of a fluid situation. Things are in motion. And it states XRPL Labs is also involved in the development of XR Payments product available on Google Play and the iOS store. So there we are on that. Let me get into the fun prediction part of the video. This is a piece from Cointelegraph. I've actually got a piece on the same topic from AMB Crypto. I'm going to read select parts from both of them. So from Cointelegraph, this piece is titled, Pantera Capital CEO believes Bitcoin could reach $356,000 in a couple years. And this is news from today. All right. Pantera Capital founder Dan Morehead discussed how Bitcoin could hit $42,000 by the end of 2019 and even has the potential to reach $356,000 within a couple years. Morehead delivered his comments on an episode of the Unchained podcast on July 23rd. Morehead specifically said that he predicts Bitcoin will hit $42,000 by the end of the year and climb to $356,000 by 2022. Morehead claimed that this would be consistent with the top cryptocurrencies' logarithmic growth rate. And here's a quote from him. Graph the price of Bitcoin logarithmically. Its trend is going to grow at 235% compound annual growth rate, and that put Bitcoin at $42,000 at the end of 2019. And I know this sounds crazy, but we're essentially halfway back there. I think it's a good shot that by the end of the year we hit that. And if you just extrapolate that line out for another year, it's $122,000 per Bitcoin. And then one more year, it's $356,000 per Bitcoin. So that's a quote directly from him. And that's look, you know what though, it seems like it always seems so far away when you hear numbers like that, but I gotta say it's all relative, because back when Bitcoin was $1,000, if you had said that just mere few years later it'd be hitting $20,000, that would have seemed just as absurd. So I just try and take a step back and just understand that the whole world, and including retail speculators and institutional investors, they haven't really entered the asset class en masse, but they will, because cryptocurrencies do have staying power. Of course, many of them are going to go away, but many actually have staying power. But anyway, the piece continues here. Morehead also spoke about technological developments in the Bitcoin network, stating that the number of possible transactions per second, a persistent problem for Bitcoin, will rapidly increase as the technology is developed. And on that point, I wanted to state again, the only solution that anyone has, which isn't a working solution, is Lightning Network, which requires pre-funded accounts, which is a centralized solution, which seems completely antithetical to the entire concept of Bitcoin, does it not? Now, the next part, though, I found fascinating. This is on the concept of an altcoin rally, basically. And where's the part I wanted to read? I think it's right here. Here we go. No, that was about the exchange fund. Okay, Morehead also made predictions about overall token success recently, saying that he believes most altcoins will fail, but thousands of decentralized applications will come out of the ones that succeed. Okay, I tend to agree with that. I can't see a world where you need thousands of different types of cryptocurrencies. To what end is that meaningful, useful, valuable? I don't see it. And my whole investment thesis, as I'm going to endlessly state, is that utility matters and it will win the day, even if it's not winning the day right now. Those coins that gain actual adoption, have actual utility, and the coins on which developers build right on top of those blockchains, those ledgers, those are the ones that are going to have staying power. And that's why I'm so bullish on XRP. It's getting used, And most cryptocurrencies, XRP included, most aren't actually getting used, but we're starting to head that direction finally. XRP is the first and only cryptocurrency to ever be used in the commercial production of anything. Other blockchains are used in other partnerships, but this is the only instance in which a native digital asset from a distributed ledger is actually being used for anything. if that isn't something that you should feel bullish about, then I don't know what is. Like, if it weren't for that, I don't think I'd be nearly as interested in the cryptocurrency space, because I entered this a year and 8 months ago, and I'm telling you, if I couldn't find something with real utility, I would have just thrown in my little bit, the minor amount of money that I invested way back in November of 2017, and I wouldn't have given it a second thought. I just would have moved on after my initial phase of research. But I came across XRP, and I was like, holy crap, this could change everything. The way in which money flows, micropayments, there's just a bazillion things. And that's exciting to me. So anyway, it's going to have staying power. Maybe most altcoins go away, but in terms of price action, when I see stuff like Bitcoin going to $356,000, if that actually happens, guess what's going to be right up there with it? Even if it doesn't move perfectly in tandem, prices will still be correlated within the next few years, I do suspect. And I still firmly believe, and then if I'm right, you can call me Nostradamus instead of Moon Lambo, but I predict that at some point XRP is going to take number one in market cap. That's my prediction. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I won't be ashamed if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then so be it. But that's my prediction. I'm not going to make a price prediction, but I will say I think that at some point in the history of cryptocurrencies, digital assets, this entire asset class, XRP is going to take the number one spot, at least for a while, because I think utility matters that much. And check out another few quotes. This is from A&B Crypto. Hopefully I can recall which ones I want to talk about, but this one's titled, "Bitcoin may be on its way to touching $42,000 by the end of 2019, says Pantera CEO." And I don't really want to... here we go. I don't really want to read the article. There's just a few... There are like several... if you're looking on the screen, there are several little quotes from Dan that look like this. So I'm going to read through those. And here's the first quote. "A small kernel of something very important gets people to be crazed about the crypto industry, and then the trough of disillusionment takes place. And we've already gone through 2 of those cycles in the 6 years that we've been investing in it." The reason I wanted to point that out is, what do I keep saying about how humans behave? They're not done behaving like this. Look at the way that people are currently putting money into cryptocurrencies, just really, literally today. How is the average retail speculator behaving? Is it reminiscent of how stock investors put money into internet stocks back in the mid to late 90s? Is it reminiscent of that? Because we know how that went down, don't we? The boom and bust cycle of the dot-com boom and bust. Humans behaved like rabid animals throwing money at whatever because nobody knew what was going to happen with internet stocks, and so it was a complete frenzy, and that's how humans behave. We're not done seeing that behavior yet. We're not done seeing it yet. And so that's why I still think at this point, maybe some altcoins go away. Maybe some of them never come back, but I just don't think that type of behavior is done unless we see institutional money lead the way in terms of additional investments in this entire asset class. Then I would say, okay, those with utility will win the day, and then you may not see too many more coins actually rise. Maybe you wouldn't. But I just don't think that we're there yet. And he's absolutely correct. He's acknowledging, in so many words, this is how humans behave. And I'm just saying it isn't done. And then here's another quote for him. This is just one sentence, but I like it. "We still have another solid 10 years to go before this is fully fleshed out." And I know he's somewhat arbitrarily picking that number, but I agree with him conceptually. Because what he's saying is it's going to take a long time before we actually see the maturation of this entire asset class. And then by then, we'll start to see what it actually looks like. But we got a long way to go. And here's another one that I wanted to share with you. Another quote from Dan Moorhead, Pantera Capital CEO. "If you ever go back and zoom out your lens more than a year, Bitcoin as a proxy for the industry is always going up. We're always trying to look 3 to 5 years out and be thinking about where the industry will be rather than worrying about these kinds of manic phases of bubbles." And I agree with that too, and that's why even as a new entrant to the world of crypto at the end of 2017, I called the crypto asset class a bubble, and I stand by that. It was a bubble, and now it's not a bubble. The bubble popped, and this happens in all sorts of different asset classes, not just crypto. And it doesn't mean that there's something inherently wrong with an asset class. There was a bubble in housing in 2008. There's a bubble in housing right now, actually. There's a bubble in the stock market right now. There's bubbles all over the place. There's been a bubble in gold in the past, at least one that I'm aware of. And so this happens, but part of what runs up bubbles like this in crypto is just because it's such nascent technology, and then it's just really just the frenzy around it. That's what's doing it in this case, but it won't always be like that. To me, though, understanding how humans behave, it makes it that much more enticing to jump in and find those coins which are actually going to be adopted. And right now, I'm pretty much seeing one. So I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. But, let me go on to the next thing I wanted to share with you here. This is a tweet from Moon Overlord, and I just kind of like this. It's not specifically about XRP, but yeah, still I want to share it. It made me think of it. Alt season 2017. If I hold for one more month, I can add an additional 25 feet to my yacht. Alt season 2019. If I dump my entire stack right now, I might be able to make rent the next few months. It's kind of made me chuckle. So I was like, okay, I understand. Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. 2019's hurting for altcoins, not just XRP, but I still don't think it's going to stay like that. We'll see. That's just a guess. I don't know. I'm not a chart analyst. Just if I had to guess, I don't think that we're done with altcoins, especially not XRP. All right, check this out. This is from XRP Crypto Wolf. And here it states, XRP community and Ripple have Brad Garlinghouse, that's Ripple CEO, personally speaking to United States Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, the White House, the IMF, the Federal Reserve, central banks, and many organizations around the world. And by the way, that is a great reason to be bullish. The adults in the room, Brad Garlinghouse, and the rest of the Ripple crew being grown-ups. And then the tweet continues, though, while in contrast, while the Bitcoin community has Eric Finman speaking to Congress for Bitcoin. And then there's a little laughy face here. And people were kind of ribbing this guy, I think in part, probably because he's got a two-tone haircut. I think that's kind of what it is. I'm not here to make fun of this guy. I'm really not. But I wanted to cite this really to bring up a broader point, which is more so having to do with the adoption of XRP. We're seeing it in like it's slow, but it's happening. It's actually happening in real time here. And we're seeing that because there are developers, Ripple, who are being responsible and engaging with regulators around the world. Now, another point I did want to bring up, and I said this once somewhat recently, but I want to hear a good answer from somebody. If you've got an answer, drop it in the comments below because I want to hear it. But given that both Bitcoin and XRP are both decentralized, I'm asking you, Mr. Moon Lambo channel listener, I want to hear what you think. Given that both Bitcoin and XRP are decentralized and both can be used for any use case, but either could be used as peer-to-peer cashless system, as Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned, either could be used for cross-border payments. It's just XRP's better for it. I think we both know that. But it's technologically possible to use both of them for anything. So why is it that the federal government should view Bitcoin as an entity that can be used for money laundering, but then you have Steve Mnuchin talking about how innovations in payment that can reduce costs, that's something we embrace and support. Like that's what he said just the other day. Why is one being treated so differently than the other when both can be used in terms of use case for the same things? Interesting, right? What is the answer for that? I haven't heard anything legit. I really am legitimately curious, because to me it seems just like at least Steven Mnuchin. He's the United States Secretary of the Treasury. At least he is differentiating between them, and he said he didn't say XRP, but other cryptocurrencies that help with innovative payment solutions that reduce costs. That's what he said. Okay. Well, XRP certainly falls into that. If he's referencing something else, please tell me what it is. But either way, they're all going to be decentralized if they're getting used globally, in particular. So, what's the difference? And so he seems to he seems to want to put them in different categories in terms of legislatively where they should be. And to me, unless I'm missing something, that seems nonsensical. That's just not logical. All right, next piece here. I just like seeing this. This is, you may have seen this chart before. It's about Amazon, but this is from EcoSSXRP1 on Twitter, and he tweeted out, "Imagine selling your Amazon stock because the price was down or moving sideways for all those years ago. A bit of patience and hodl in for the end game." And so here it is. Value of $1,000 invested in Amazon stock, and it shows the timeline along the bottom, and what it would be worth, just that $1,000. And look at this; it goes parabolic. Now, interesting. I say parabolic, but it looks that way, doesn't it? It's over a span of years and years and years and years. And it's funny because if you look where I'm circling right here, this was the entire .com boom and bust cycle that I talked about. They got up to a bubble of $6 trillion roughly, if memory serves. That's it. Just a little blip down here. And so that's why I'm telling you, when it comes to crypto, we've nowhere near capped out where this thing's going. We haven't even started the party as far as I'm concerned. But look, people get down as far as price action with XRP, and I get it. It's an emotional thing when you got your own money, and that's why I wanted to point this out. I know that this is Amazon. This is not a cryptocurrency, but conceptually the same thing holds true. I bet you could have felt just as emotional about this, but if you believe in something, if you believe there's a rational reason to hold on to something, then, well, if you're Moon Lambo, if you were me, then you hold. This is not financial advice. You do what you want. You can sell, you can buy, you can hodl, do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and I am holding. I will go down with the ship if necessary, but this ship ain't going down. That's what I say anyway. All right, check this out. This is a tweet from Galvatron. It's a retweet. Let me share with you the retweet first. This is from XRP News. Attempted attack on XRP Ledger taking place. Retweet to increase awareness. And that's what I covered in recent videos today and yesterday about the whole memo line thing. I don't want to go into the whole thing again. If you're curious, just watch the first video of mine from today if you want to know what I'm talking about. I spoke about this at length. But it has to do with the attack on the ledger. And Galvatron responded, fear not, it's just expensive spam. It won't hurt the ledger at all. And a bunch of twats are going to waste their money accomplishing nothing. Oh, man, that's fun. Throw out the T word there, Mr. Galvatron. Okay. And so, and I responded to him. I wanted to know specifically what he thought about illicit materials being uploaded in an immutable fashion to the XRP ledger. And I haven't checked back to see if he's responded, but I am curious his thoughts because I haven't really heard a good rationale for anything on why it does or doesn't matter. I did cite that validators don't need to run a full history node, so maybe it doesn't matter anyway. But I wanted to get his take on because he's rather insightful. I just want to get his take on if he thinks that it matters. Period. Why would that prevent anybody from being willing to interact? Because you can put some really nasty stuff on the XRP ledger since it's decentralized. And, again, I was just kind of pondering if it doesn't matter because you don't have to, if you're validated, you don't have to run the full node, and then it's hence like that stuff isn't like immediately there. So anyway, I'm trying to get another perspective on that. Next tweet here. This was from looks like a Bitcoin maximalist. They retweeted a CoinDesk article, which I covered in my last video, or maybe one or two videos ago anyway, about how Ripple sold 251 million worth of XRP in the second quarter this year. And so this guy named Nick writes, Ripple sells 251 million in XRP in the second quarter amid spike in institutional buying. And then writes, XRP's a centralized S-word, just read this. Matt Hamilton responded, maybe you don't understand what the word centralized means. If Grayscale were as open as Ripple and released a report on the Bitcoin they sold, would that make Bitcoin centralized? And of course the answer is no. An entity holding a cryptocurrency and choosing to sell it is not an indicator of whether or not something is centralized. Having a specific quantity of Bitcoin or a specific quantity of XRP does not give you power or special permissions or control over those blockchains and ledgers in any capacity. It doesn't matter how much you own. There's no code that gives you special powers. It has nothing to do with centralization whatsoever. And that's just one of those things where Bitcoin maxis just say it does, even though it's factually incorrect. Here's the last piece I want to cover, and then I'm going to close out this video. This is from Cointelegraph, and this piece is titled, John McAfee reportedly released filing detainment in the Dominican Republic. Cryptocurrency enthusiast and antivirus software namesake John McAfee appears to have been released by authorities in the Dominican Republic today. McAfee posted a picture on his official Twitter account with the caption, here's the quote now in the caption, leaving detention, don't judge my looks, 4 days of confinement. I was well treated. My superiors were friendly and helpful. In spite of the helpful circumstances, we've decided to move on more later. On July 23rd, a post was made on McAfee's Twitter account, allegedly by McAfee's campaign manager, Rob Benedicto. Pacifico Juan Maria Logia Ramirez said, I'm sorry. If you want the name, it's on my screen right now. You try and read it. It's cool. It's cool. Just give me a pass on that. All right. Moonlamp was tired. Saying that McAfee and his boat crew had likely been detained. McAfee announced that Logia Ramirez would be his presidential campaign manager in October of 2018. A report by the Associated Press appears to have confirmed Logia Ramirez's suspicion. According to the report, McAfee was arrested on the north coast of the Dominican Republic while docking his yacht in Puerto Plata, after which authorities seized high-caliber weapons and other military props from his vessel So this guy's gangsta. I was not expecting to hear that, and I still don't know exactly why he was arrested, and it doesn't say in this piece, and I haven't seen it anywhere, so if I find out, I'll let you know. But we're going to leave it on that. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!